This is Julian here of Unified Solutions, and I've got Harrison on the line with me today. Harrison, I wanted to bring you on and just talk to you about the experience you've had with me in our coaching journey. And so maybe we'll just jump right in. So my first question, Harrison, to you is, maybe tell us a little bit about who you are and maybe what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Harrison. I'm the co-founder and CTO of MaestroQA, where I lead our engineering teams, and I've worked really closely with our design and product teams in an ever-evolving journey as we have grown from being 2 to 5 to 20 to 60 over the last couple of years. I'm really passionate about engineering, and I also spend a lot of time and energy training for triathlon, and I recently got married actually during our time coaching together. So I've been through a big life journey over the past year and a half through a lot of change.
Before we got connected in our coaching journey, I guess what was going on that made you feel that coaching might be a valuable tool for you?
Yeah, so there's two things. One, coming from an athletic background, I ran in college. I found leaving the structure of college and the training group that I joined after college and kind of going on my own, I found I was having trouble with consistency and achieving the results that I wanted on my own, and thought that there might be a strong parallel there in the work and life world as well. I've definitely found that, well, I think I have a lot of the tools to accomplish what I want, consistently applying them and metering that energy and approach to things was an area that I thought I could improve by getting some extra help.
I guess, was there anything that made you select me that you felt that I could help you based on either my background or with what you were navigating coming into the sessions?
I would say I didn't have one criteria that I was looking for. I wasn't ultra specific, more coming in open-minded and looking for someone that I feel like I could have a good dialogue and conversation with. I didn't want someone to give me a rigid structure to follow, or someone that was going to not push me either and challenge some of my thoughts. So I was looking to find that balance, someone to have an ongoing conversation with.
Do you have any moments or situations where you felt you felt supported through a key challenge that you were going through? And do you have any moments or anything about those moments that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, one of the biggest things has been in bringing the right clarity of thought to some of my challenge and bringing consistent stability to my challenges, in the sense that I don't think I've ever during this time I faced any one challenge that seemed insurmountable, or anything that on its own was too much or too crushing in any way. But putting all those things together and tackling all the challenges of life in concert was probably the biggest area of focus for me in making sure those things, while on their own were fine, didn't bleed over and cascade and cause issues.
Yeah, just kind of a general management and processing and progressing through the vicissitudes of life, right? Just as you go through situation to situation. Would you mind saying a little bit more? So, how did you find, to your point about not being too rigid, did you feel free and have enough autonomy to bring up whatever it was that was pressing for you in the moment? How did you find that process?
I'm definitely the type of person that, I definitely find myself to be the type of person that I will typically have 1 to 2 big challenges that I'm wrestling with in the back of my mind, that I'm thinking about, as I go for a run, or, I'm just sitting down, in that kind of inner space time that, may span 1 day or a week or a month or more. And those are the types of questions that I found most helpful to bring forward and discuss about, not, what is the biggest challenge of today, but more, what are those things that are, consistent, whether they be stressors or big decisions that need to be made, or ways of addressing problems that are consistently occupying my mind. Those are the areas that I found exploring those to be most helpful.
What did that free up for you to be able to kind of come in and do that thematic analysis and discussion?
Yeah, the number one thing for me has been improving letting each challenge be addressed and resolved with the appropriate emotional energy and communication techniques that are needed for that moment, and not cross applying, whether it be stress or a certain approach between different problems in a way that would be detrimental to how to solve each of those problems. I think that's something that I found through some introspection was happening, and having a little bit of a system to both recognize that and try to improve on that, I think has helped me bring the right mentality to the various different challenges which need different styles of communication or work.
Powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. When we first got together, there was a dynamic here of, focusing on just being able to be more attentive and more strategically attentive with your team and team development. And so I'm wondering if you saw any impacts in that vein throughout our engagement.
Definitely. Now, I think that there's multiple types of development. Some of this has been about how to find and identify the right people to bring in. And the bigger piece of it, I think, has been how do we better organize and structure internally within our existing team to get the most out of what we're doing and what we can perform on. So I think that by bringing fresh clarity of mind, especially between those two problems, which are quite different, has been really helpful to coming up with creative solutions, as well as being kind of emotionally present for both types of very different types of communication.
Do you feel that the scope of the items that we addressed, was it just work related, or do you feel that you had any gains, any wins, just from a personal perspective?
Yeah, I think that especially for someone who's a co-founder, and I think it's true of many people, but especially when you've seen something from a very early stage and you've been working on something for 6, 7, 8 years, work becomes more than just a job. It becomes a very emotional part of who you are, and it runs through many veins in life. So in some sense, I think focusing on work is true, but that is similar to saying focusing on life, because that does affect many areas and spill over into many areas of life for me, because of how it's become part of who I am and how I identify things.
I'm so glad you said that, and thank you for saying it that way. As a founder, and I know as you are, I definitely have seen that. Right, it's so much more of a part of who you are, and who you are is so much more a part of the company that you founded and how you lead and all that. And so definitely, I've seen you make some phenomenal acknowledgments in that vein throughout this process. And so, no, I think the way you articulate that is dead on. Has there been any mindset shifts for you throughout our coaching process, or anything that you think is material or significant?
The biggest thing for me is recognizing, and there's many things, but the one which I apply on a daily basis is recognizing the need for myself to not just pick up on my issues, but have a few tools which I can draw upon to reset in between things. So I guess I'm not sure if the right word is psychosomatic or physical cues to use to basically not just recognize, which I think was phase one of speaking, when mind's getting in a certain state, but also to address and reset back to a positive state.
Having those tools to reset just in between the moments, I think that bleeds into what you were saying about just having more kind of a strategic approach to solving those patterns, those themes that keep coming up, and improving those, and being poised to communicate and solve a problem in a certain way when you need to. So that's powerful, man. That's powerful stuff. Well, look, I appreciate you sharing just a little bit about your journey, your experience, and kind of what some of the outcomes were from our sessions and just our time together. The one thing that I wanted to bring you on specifically, Harrison, to talk with people about is just because you're a busy guy. You've got a lot going on, a lot of growth just in the work and life arena, and so a lot of my clients and a lot of people we work with are in the same boat, right? They're busy professionals, they're executives, they're founders, they're physicians, they're so on, so on and so forth down the line. And if you were talking to yourself before we kicked off our sessions, or a person like you, I'm wondering, what would you say to that person, that we're in conversations with, about why or what's valuable about coaching?
So I think everyone's journey with coaching is probably a little different, but for me, the big unlock was taking observations that I was making about myself, speaking through why I thought those things were happening, and having some challenging on the true reasons for those things happening, and then having someone talk through and present some frameworks, some of which I think apply really well for me, and some of which I don't use, but having some techniques to try and to have consistent reinforcement of over a period of time to try to improve. So I think taking introspection, being challenged on the validity of the introspection, and then working through tools to consistently address the things raised through introspection would be my process.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And a last question I have for you, and then we'll let you go. But time. Everyone's busy. You're busy. You're traveling as we speak, right? You're a jet setter, and so how did you make the time for our sessions? How did you make that and keep that commitment to the engagement itself?
Yeah, there's definitely some times where I looked at the calendar and I was like, it's already the end of the day. Another Zoom meeting is a little much for today. But I definitely found that especially when we kind of took the time to really take a root level assessment of how things were really going across business, life, work, all those things, that I came out more energized than I went in, and I just had to remind myself of that going into it. On some of those busy weeks, that if I I'm present and I present my best self, then I can come out more energized than I go in, even though it is another Zoom meeting in the world that we live in today.
The way you've come into sessions, what you put in is what you get out. That statement definitely is certainly true in my experience. But I think what you just said there really encapsulates it nicely, right? It's yes, another meeting doesn't mean we always have to keep them, but there are times where hopefully this feeds you as much as it takes energy to get onto a call. So Harrison, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate just you sharing honestly what your experience was like. I think this could be hopefully revelatory for people that are looking or questioning if coaching is right for them. And to your point, coaching relationships and engagements are going to be different for everyone, right? And so I just think, though, taking the time to share your experience has been wonderful, and it's going to be powerful. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. All right, man. You have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.
See you. Bye.